Washington is somebody without a title. And if nobody don't ever recognize me, I've come to a place where I recognize myself. Somebody that's happy about what God is doing in your future, lift your hands and shout glory. I'm excited about my future. Yes, sir. And I'm not only excited, Hayes, about my future, but I'm excited about your future. I wouldn't just want great for me and not great. Matter of fact, Reverend Sandra, I'll step back. If you go first, I'm all right with that. Long as I got next, I'm all right with you being first. Encourage somebody, tell them, I don't mind you being first. Hayes, I don't mind God building you a brand new church. I don't mind if you have thousands of members, as long as when he get done with you, I got next. We ought to be happy for each other. Oh, yeah. Let me close, Elder Jerome. We got to be happy. We ought to be excited, exuberantly excited about our brothers and sisters. When we read wicked, we think of other people. To most people, this word brings to mind the concept of gross evil. We think in terms of the fast crowd. We think in mind, you know, when you think evil, you think like mafia. Or something similar. We think this couldn't possibly apply to me. But you see, gross evil is the product of prior choices. Choices to live life without God, as he is revealed in the scripture. And believers can be guilty of that in dozens of ways. See, we are not disobedient to God. We simply alter God's plan to fit our standards. We alter our position. God says do this, but we make it easier by doing that. It's not total disobedience. Anybody guilty, just say guilty, guilty. I've been away. And when I came home, I walked into this sanctuary and I cried. Yeah. I cried because I remembered. I remembered that this place was merely an A&P supermarket. And I remembered that a bunch of young people, Minister Moore, some of my aunties, a bunch of children, simply at a word, a man with a vision, who looked at the children and said, we can do it. I walked in here, Bishop, and I thought about the original blueprint. You know, you just never know with Bishop. Just when you think you got him figured out, he changes. Then I began to think that actually we went back to the future. Because this is the original blueprint. in the first place? I wish I had a witness here. How many of us have made some mistakes? We have made some bad choices because we didn't follow the exact blueprint. And so now you're going back to the future so that you can do it all over again. Is there anybody that's ready for something new? Let me close, Bishop Henry. Whatever we can do to make it fit where we are. And then we're satisfied with that and then pretentiously try to make an offering to God to say to God, well, here it is. But Bishop Campbell, if it's not your original blueprint from God, we should never say to God, here it is. So we have a lot of people in ministry who walk around with despair and discouragement. And we're looking at the result of what happens when people go through painful problems. Every now and then, you need to take a moment, try to figure out what is it that make people worry? What is it that make them hurt? What is it that makes them angry? What is it that causes them to be perplexed? What is it that makes them depressed? What causes discouragement? Sometimes it's up to that individual that realizes that I didn't obey God totally. But if the Lord would give me an opportunity to look into my future, I promise the Lord, I feel like dancing. Is there anybody in here that need to promise God, I may have messed up the first time, but if you let me do it again, I promise. Yeah. Touch somebody and say, the Lord's giving you a do-over. So I made up my mind, Reverend Thomas, I'm not going to make excuses for what God has purposed for my life. Anybody here tired of downplaying yourself? Sandra, you can't help it because you got a master's degree. Forget about those that don't accept it, but downplaying yourself to make other people feel comfortable. You can't help it if you smart. Downplaying yourself so that people in your company will feel comfortable. But how many of you believe that time has ceased? And whatever God has called you to do, you plan to go full force. Whatever the Lord has ordained for your life, if you got to do it by yourself, you made up your mind. In our text, God has forgiven the people. He's given them a pass. Look at somebody and say, the Lord gave me a pass. He looks to these people and he gives them, first of all, his person.